of a transgender woman who started.
So what is my responsibility as some...
So this hideous animal, Jessica.
Okay, you need to chill, lady. Chill. Do you have any weapons on you?
No, I'm gonna actually take a shot because I really feel too sober for this.
Well, it is indeed current year. And to embrace Pride Month. Wait, that passed? Fuck! Well, I'm gonna need to talk to someone, cause Pride needs to be year-round, so we can celebrate activists like Jessica Yaniv, and those ladies who started Trans Lifeline and then used the money to threaten some guy on his toilet. Alright, well, to embrace just pride in general, I have for you Miss Jessica Yaniv. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, Cecil, that's just a pig in a wig. And firstly, I'd like to thank you for not misgendering this beautiful woman. As we know, it's 2019, and as long as you say she is a female pig, then I'm sure you can get by without a human's right complaint. Maybe because if there's one thing Miss Yaniv is trigger happy about, it's human rights complaints and getting women unemployed. And I'm not here calling her a pig. I'm just saying what some people might think, some bigots. And before you come after me and say, hey Cecil, why are you referring to Yaniv as female pronouns? Plenty of trans activists at this point have denounced Yaniv as one of them. Well, I for one am a very progressive YouTuber. First of all, I'm vegan. And second, if you say I'm not progressive, by researching this video and on Miss Yaniv, I've learned quite a few lessons on silencing people who don't abide by what I want them to say. So let's continue. This has been a rather daunting story to follow, and to be honest, this video is just me scratching the surface of what is going on. It seems like every other day something happens, and usually I would read every article, every Kiwi page, and try to learn everything before writing something, but I'm a mere team of one, and it's all too much. So this is just a guide of what has happened thus far, or at least what I've retained in my 2 weeks of reading about this while also watching anime and, mountain monsters.
Son of a bitch was right there, he threw me in here. Right here? Yeah.
But honestly, the shit show that is surrounding this individual has been quite freaking insane. It's like lolcalmageddon. We had Blair White enter, we had No Bullshit enter, there's even this guy named Donald Smith jumping in and...
What a shit show today at the Jessica so-called child grooming hearing today.
It's just a never-ending cesspool of insanity. This video probably can't cover everything in a timely manner. This individual, Yaniv, has been running amok all over the internet for over a decade, being batshit insane. Because the nature of this lolcow is so large, so out of control, and so constantly evolving and spreading to the point I cannot cover every freaking development, I decided to categorize what I found the most interesting into a few categories as a sort of Yaniv the beginner's guide. Alright, first we have the origins of Yaniv, and then the subcategories National Sex Day, Trusted Nerd, and running Facebook groups. Then we have Yaniv and online censorship, Yaniv the racist, Yaniv the tampon fetishist, / Yaniv the child predator. We have Yaniv's super cool pool party, Jessica Wax My Balls Yaniv, Yaniv versus Blair White, Yaniv versus Rebel Media, and then just some current updates. So, Miss Yaniv here, back in 2008, our brave trans activist was not yet out as trans, but she decided to poke her rather large, bulbous nose out of her college, to try and start a National Sex Day. I'm gonna link an article below about this. My favorite part of the article was I found there was a quote from someone saying something like, "People should call in well that day," or some other nonsense. Now, to be fair, a national sex holiday doesn't a lolcow make. But as a good Christian YouTuber, I for one do not like the idea of a holiday that encourages promiscuity. You know, the only sex, in my view, should be on your wedding night, lights off, missionary style, and only for procreation. But I only mention this as it is, at least from what I've seen, as Yaniv's first brush in with having some wider spread acknowledgement. It's not that interesting, so moving on. So this doesn't really pertain to the recent dramas, but I did want to discuss this to better paint a picture of Miss Yaniv's personality. So Yaniv, when they're not suing women for not touching their ding-dongs, they run a website and it is called Trusted Nerd. From what I can tell, and when I say from what I can tell, I mean what I am directly quoting from my favorite website, Kiwi Farms, Jonathan claims to make a living as a digital marketing expert. Their company, Trusted Nerd, primarily exists as a website where they indiscriminately repost press releases. However, they also use it, along with their fake social media following, to ingratiate themselves with brands and convincing them to give Yaniv products. One of these companies was XR Brands, for which Yaniv wrote a number of sickening reviews, apparently playing the character of a female, or at least someone with female genitals. Oh, I forgot about the female genital thing. We'll get into that later. I just want to narrate you some of Yaniv's beautiful reviews. Shegasm, intense 2-in-1 clit stimulator. I fucking love this clit stimulator. Gets my clitoris going like crazy. I literally fell in love with this product as soon as I saw it and started using it. Fuck. Just typing about it makes me want to whip this bad boy out and start using it. Oh my god. I get wet just thinking about it. Fuck. You can also insert the other end in your pussy for amazing stimulation. In the next review, Thunderstick 2.0 Supercharged Power Wand. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Fuck. Holy shit. This was the first thing I said when I saw this bad. I'm sorry. The Thunderstick is so powerful, you have to plug it in for maximum power. Of course, my favorite level when I turn it on is all the way up for orgasm power. So, I know in the past I've gotten some critique about making Amy Schumer level jokes.
Boyfriend usually comes in me.
But dang, Yaniv has me beat. Now, before you bigots come in and say, hey Cecil, Yaniv was born male, despite now identifying as female. How are they stimulating their lady parts? Well, guess what, fagos? Yaniv is intersex. Yes, Yaniv has both a lady hoo-ha and a manly dongle. Now, I am no science man. In fact, I am no man, and therefore I'm not very smart. But there was this intersex blogger that weighed in to answer whether or not it was possible for Yaniv to have a PP and a vajayjay, saying, I think it's fair to assume, as we know that Yaniv cannot have both sets of genitals, and that the cases are centered around the waxing of genitalia that Yaniv has a penis. If they had a vulva, there's been a lot of talk of waxing vaginas. Let's be clear, the vagina is internal and the vulva is external. Then I assume they would not be making up claims of both sets of genitals or evading answers about their own body parts. I will link the article that I was just quoting in the description, as I'm probably going to reference it a few more times. I don't know how trustworthy this person is. They at least claim to know more than me. But back to touching base on the fake reviews that Yaniv likes to put out, here is an example of a company calling out Yaniv for their shady ways. The review for Boston Pizza says, these guys are ridiculous. They have this employee named Danielle who hangs up the phone immediately when she hears my voice. I have tried so many times to place an order with them and get an excuse of, we can't do it, to phone back later, and now, today, them hanging up 4 times on me. What gives? I spoke to the GM there. He told me to call to place an order. I try to call and talk to him immediately, get hung up on. Ridiculous. And the owner responds saying, thanks for taking the time to leave us a review, Jonathan. We appreciate it.
I'm fucking mad. Well, I'm fucking mad. Well, I'm fucking mad. And the other day was a little attracted to know him.
Before Jonathan was Jessica, they did some predatory things on the internet. Back in 2012, they helped run a Facebook group for a female band called SIMPSON, or some shit. The girls were aged 12, 14, 17, 19, 20, and 22. Most of the fans were also underage, and members of the fandom reported that Jonathan, at the time identifying as an adult man, would bully the underage members of the community. Get this, he even changed his name to Jonathan Cimaroli on Facebook to try to fit in with these underage fans. Yaniv essentially got this girl band to allow him access to their Facebook because, from my understanding, he offered to help clean up unwanted posts and other such services, but he did that so he could be a predator to fans as young as 13. Jonathan was trying to get in a 13-year-old girl's panties by saying he worked for Cimaroli, and one day he'd bone that 13-year-old for sure, when he works for Justin Bieber. Here, let me read a rather creepy exchange archived from the time. OMG, who's Jonathan? At Trusted Nerd, he works for Cimarelli. Then what happened? He, bullies SimFam. Bullies? WTF. He can't just let go of the past, and he talks shit to the girl and tells people to send her hate. That's immature shit. And he says he's a grown man. It's like, bitch, swerve. Grown-up man? That made me laugh. I've seen younger people more mature than him. I'm more mature than him, and I'm 13. Here's another one. Please tell me that you did not report the Fergie's channel for copyright violation. There's a rumor that Jonathan Cimarelli did. Who is this Jonathan Cimarelli? Is he part of the Cimarelli band or something? Who's that fucking Jonathan Cimarelli on YouTube? What the fuck is he saying that he works for Cimarelli? So here are some exact screenshots of Jonathan preying on some underage people. He's being very discreet here by sending this 13-year-old a third-person question. Do you think Jonathan, who worked for Cimarelli, is a sexy beast? Would you hook up with him? Jonathan, you're fucking gross. You're like 30 and I'm 13. Get the fuck off my ass, pervert. Oh well, when you're 18 and I work for Justin Bieber, we will be fucking on the daily. Jonathan, fuck off! You're fucking gross. Like, why are you so interested in having sex with me? Before there was Jessica, we had Jonathan, another whiny crybaby, sans the tampon, dangling between two meaty thighs. Jonathan also had a pastime of trying to sue people over bullshit. For example, in 2016, old Jonathan volunteered at a theater and tried suing after the performers burned sage on stage. The case ended up getting dismissed, so I'm fairly sure they didn't start a fire or harm anyone. He wanted $25,000 for this. There was also something along the lines where Yaniv tried to make a big stink about some kid who kicked their chair on a plane. If you just search Trusted Nerd complaint on Twitter, you can find some of this person's complaints and lawsuits. Here's one from 2015. Who can I file a complaint with in regards to a hotel I stayed in at Burnaby who was abusive and won't resolve the issue? Another one in 2013. Hello, I have a complaint regarding celebrity cruises. I have sent you a Facebook message with the details if you can. 2016. I have 2 lawsuits against Andrew Barron totaling over $32,000. File a complaint with @Indiegogo against him. 2015 again. I filed a huge complaint with them and they are trying to blackmail me to remove the review. 2013 again. In the laundry room, replacing/fixing the DPT, I filed a complaint waiting for the supervisor to call back, and I don't know what the rest of that one was. So in 2017, Jessica came out to the world. Not that she attempted to pass to anyone, except for changing her name and going into a woman's bathroom looking like a big old dude and taking pictures around young girls. One might think because Yaniv's previous attempts at online attention were met with no notice from anyone, perhaps they decided to up the ante by claiming they were a protected class, so then they could go wah wah on the internet and kick up the fuss. But hey, that would make you a bigot for saying so.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Now, I myself have heard of Yaniv quite a while before all of this, because of her getting a certain man named Joshua Moon, who is a simple guy who only wanted to share his love of Israel and feeding women through his live streams, booted from the platform of YouTube because of a false DMCA strike. The strike was on his thumbnail, which doesn't happen, they DMCA'd a thumbnail. But the shit show really blew up around this live stream. It seems like this is not the only time Yaniv has violated censoring other people. For one, the evident desire for control of narrative and the need for attention can be seen way back when Jessica went by Jonathan, when they tried to make themselves a Wikipedia article. But because Jonathan was a nobody back then who bought Twitter followers, it kept getting deleted. So instead of going like, hey, maybe I don't need a Wikipedia article, Yaniv kept writing new profiles, whining about how they needed one. Here's an example. Bio, Jonathan Yaniv. There are so many people with bios on here that are as important as me, and their articles have not been deleted. It is only fair that if you delete mine, you should delete theirs as well, or let me have mine. Yaniv also got a free speech advocate named Lindsay Shepard banned from Twitter July 14th, 2019. Lindsay Shepard went on to be interviewed saying, Because this is a trans individual, they are untouchable. They are allowed to mock and taunt me about my biology. They can say whatever crude things they want, but when it comes to me wanting to take a shot back at that person and wanting to stand up for myself, or for my womanhood, so to speak, I am permanently kicked off. Following all this, I feel like all this recent history of Yaniv, maybe Twitter might second guess them banning all these people. I'm just kidding, they're gonna keep banning people. I found an article that was written 4 days before me writing this, who knows when this will come out, on YouTube, with the sentence claiming that Yaniv got hundreds of women banned from Twitter for criticizing them. There is an actual website dedicated to discussing Yaniv called jonathanyaniv.org that has a section on Yaniv and censorship. They detail some inside information I find very interesting that detail how Yaniv keeps getting away with this. They write, Jonathan works IT and runs their own tech blog called Trusted Nerd at trustednerd.com and is noted for going to many tech conventions out of Canada. He openly brags about his connections to the IT industry, such as meeting the co-founder of Twitter in person. No one has been able to bring up other stories of Twitter protecting an individual so hard, especially against respected feminists, which makes it seem likely nepotism is to blame. The behavior of Twitter's ban system is also suspect. While people usually get temporary bans that are based on obvious infractions of the rules, Twitter's protection of Jonathan is the opposite. Random messages referencing Yaniv get flagged intermittently. Sometimes appeals are accepted, sometimes rejected, sometimes never answered at all. This unpredictability hints that it's a manual process, sometimes intercepted by employees who don't know Yaniv. Twitter can't be reached for comment, and even as notable people get banned for talking about Yaniv, even indirectly, the company stays silent. End quote. If you check Yaniv's Twitter today, though, it seems like the floodgates of angry, transphobes has been opened, as every one of the poor woman's tweets are absolutely ratioed. Although racism isn't anything new, and I'm not here to claim like my YouTube channel holds any morals except don't hurt those weaker than you like animals and kids, but it's kind of funny how racist Yaniv is as a trans activist. You'd think Miss Picky, who claims to be a social justice warrior, would be sensitive about all the SJW stuff. But oh boy. Well, 1. Yaniv joined a gym to get away from immigrants. Here is a Facebook comment by Yaniv, back when they were Jonathan, saying, "How to explain this without getting banned on this group and sounding like a racist? We have a lot of immigrants here who gawk and judge and aren't exactly the cleanest people. They're also verbally and physically abusive. That's one main reason why I joined a girls' gym, because I don't want issues with these people, nor do I want anything to do with them in any way, shape, or form. They lie about shit. They'll do anything to support their own kind and make things miserable for everyone else. Those immigrant women don't join these clubs because they have to be in gym clothes, so because they're not there and never will be, it's a safe place for me." My Yaniv voice is very inconsistent. And just because I didn't organize everything so well, I just put a lot of screenshots where they're racist, though. So there's a review Trusted Nerd gave. "These curry-shoving crapheads do not stop calling me. Canada Revenue Currency Agency tax evasion line. Their number? Flood their phones with calls so they disconnect. Sitting right here next to a turban fucker. LOL. And I still find it funny the internet censors decided that this Yaniv person was the hill to die on being progressive. So not only did Yaniv go into restrooms looking like a full-on dude around underage girls, this individual also has a gigantic history of taking advantage of young girls and having a tampon fetish. Yes, that's right. Let's read some of the screen caps from conversations people have had with Yaniv over the years. Yaniv writes in a Facebook conversation, "I just don't know what to do. Like, go in there? What are the chances of me running into someone fully nude in there?" The person they are asking responds, "Most people are shy, LOL. I haven't been at a public pool like that in a decade, but everyone changed in stalls. I saw more naked people at the gym and there was one trans woman there. Nobody cares and minded their own business. If every place could be like that, we would have a lot less problems in the world." Yaniv responds, "I just wish everyone minded their own business." Agreed. Another conversation, Yaniv writes, the rest of the girls that have their tits and pussy out, even though I don't have the parts for that, you know. And also, like, is it weird to look for the string to know who to ask for? Like, even though I have a dick, unfortunately, I can be fully out there and change with them. Like, I don't want them to give me any issues or things. I can't speak for everyone, babe, but I'd be okay with it. Not everyone is as tolerant, though. I wish I could tell you different. I want you to be safe as well, but in the end, it's you who has to be comfortable. I'm not sure if this is the same conversation, but it looks like it because of the text, but the same person, I believe, writes, "Not everyone. I hardly ever do. It all depends on your confidence, I guess. I suggest you go in the locker room one day, just to check it out. Do a test run and see for yourself. Get a feel for it and then decide." If there's like 30 girls in the change room, how many of them would you say are out there changing freely with their vaginas and tits out? So, I don't know if this is the same conversation, but by the text of the Facebook message, it kind of looks like it. So, possibly a continuation. So, basically, I'm gonna see pussy regardless of what I do as soon as I get there. Like, even though I'm a legal female in all aspects, I just didn't get the surgery yet. Can I have any issues at all being in there seeing all of that? Not legally, no. But people are sick in the head. And if you run into a Trump supporter, you know, all those Trump supporters in British Columbia, Canada, who are way worse than a predator Yaniv, for example, and they make a complaint, then the pool owner may either have an issue with you or with the one complaining. It can go either way, but never forget, you have rights. And no, you should not have to prove your gender everywhere you go. But baby, this world is so cruel. I hate that you're so worried. Please go with a support system. Don't do this alone just yet. I've asked some of my friends to go with me. They haven't said no, but I can tell they don't exactly want to do this. One of them is pushing this off. Also, how can I bond with these girls? Because I feel like I might cause inconveniences to them by being in there. You know, that's how I feel sometimes. That people don't do things that they normally would when I'm around. Like in the bathroom. I found when I'm in the bathroom, a way to make myself comfortable and them comfortable is if I ask them for a pad or a tampon. It works every time. And sometimes it works too well. I'll go up to them and ask them for a tampon or a pad, and they'll want to give me money to buy me a box, or they'll talk to me about the products that they use and their flow. They really get personal. And like, we start bonding over periods and pads and tampons. It's pretty awesome. I asked once and this girl was like, "Oh, I just changed mine. Otherwise, I'd give you one." Another was like, "My period just started today, unexpectedly at the gym." And she gave me like 2 or 3 tampons because she had a whole box in her bag. Another one was like, "Just put toilet paper between your legs, hon. You'll be okay." And another one was like, "Oh, you should try the Dixie cup. It's really, really great." And then people want to go and buy me them from the machines, and they have done that before. And when I'm in the stall and ask, would the same thing work in the change room? Like when I'm in the bathroom and ask for a pad? Like if I hear the girl in the next stall ripping one? Obviously I know she's on it. And that conversation just cuts off with Yaniv saying, "And I don't know what else happened after that, but here's another one." Where Yaniv is asking very similar questions to who knows who this person is. So at the gym, do girls bear all? And this person, probably trying to be as nice as possible to this, responds, "Most are really discreet, like change in a way that not much shows. We walk around in towels, but that's about it. And sometimes bras and panties." Here's another screen cap. Yaniv writes, "Went really well. I expected more though. I only got to see one girl in her panties." The person responds, "It's really low key. I think most women are all self-conscious and just want to change and go in as quickly as possible." And what is Yaniv's brilliant response to this? Is it, "Oh, that makes sense"? No. They respond, "I was really expecting to walk in and see girls with their boobs out." Here's one of Yaniv's other little scripted questions to another Facebook user. I'm assuming this is Facebook Messenger. It could be text messages. I don't use an iPhone. Fuck Apple. "What can I do or say in the change room to bond with these girls? The restroom I've mastered to some degree, asking for pads, tampons, and complimenting their makeup and shit. Would asking for a pad tampon in the change room still work?" This person, I can kind of feel they're uncomfortable, responds, "Honestly, you're asking the wrong person on that one. LOL, I don't really talk to other people. I am really reserved and quiet around people I don't know. It oftentimes comes off as bitchy, even when I don't mean to. And very awkward and self-conscious." And the response from Miss Yaniv is, "LOL, cry emoji. I'm kind of the same way, but then I thought, LOL, maybe I can make them feel that's cut off. And then at the bottom, I have no idea how these screen caps are organized. This video is not the most organized. It's another little thing from Yaniv, which says, if I notice the girl that's nude below and has a tampon string coming out when I'm changing and doing my stuff, is it weird to approach her to ask her for a tampon or a pad? Just to bond with her over period stuff. I really want to make friends in there. It's kind of a goal of mine. And in regards to tampon strings, LOL, those strings aren't exactly sure. LOL, especially the OB ones. Oh, here's another one. Do girls openly change their Do girls openly insert/change their tampons when freely changing? And response, no, not that I've ever seen. It's easier to just go to the bathroom stall because it needs to be disposed. Yaniv responds, have you ever seen a tampon string hanging? The perversions of Yaniv are not just secluded to gym interaction. Here's a conversation between Yaniv and another Facebook user about a trip that they went on. Yaniv writes them, it sucks cause on Wednesday, I'm traveling to the island on a ferry and usually they do field trips, so that means tons of 10-year-old girls in the bathroom when I need to change my pads. Ugh. Female responds, they're young enough that it may not bother them. Kids are more receptive than adults. And because this is not a good enough response to Yaniv, who probably is,
oh, excuse me, Ricky. Ricky, I did see what you were doing. It felt good, didn't it?
To the idea of changing tampons in front of underage girls, responds, maybe it's weird to ask a 10 to 12-year-old girl for a pad or a tampon. On to some more conversation about the ferry ride. I would always offer a thin pad to a little girl over a tampon though. Some families and their cultures are against tampons, or the mother/father is against them and don't want to piss off a mother. This statement is not good enough for Yaniv, who responds to this really reasonable suggestion with, if she wants a tampon though, should I give her one and instruct her how to use it? If she doesn't know how to use it, I would find her mother. If her mom is not there, then yes. Which I do not agree with because it's not your business. And what would I tell her? Yaniv responds, I have no idea if this is the same freaking conversation as the last one. It seems like Yaniv is just messaging random girls from this Facebook makeup group, because here's another one where this person is just like, ooh, I'm so happy I posted this message group, and it honestly seems like the same conversation, because Yaniv just goes, out of nowhere, I'm nervous for Wednesday. Why? And in this conversation, Yaniv brings up the trip again on Wednesday because they write, I think my period is going to start on Wednesday when I'm traveling to Victoria and going on a ferry, and my first day is usually very heavy, so I'm going to have to change my pad often. Every single time I take that ferry to the island, there's field trips with 10 to 12-year-old girls on it, each and every time. If I'm in the bathroom, the girls ask me for a pad on our tampon and potentially help. That one was cut off. I don't even know if there's the same conversation, because here's another one where Yaniv is asking about helping underage girls put on their menstrual cycle material, because here they're saying, what if she wants to know how to put a pad on? Then what? I know eventually I'm going to run the scenario where someone asks me for help. No, Yaniv, you won't. No one's ever asked me for help, and I am an old lady. Obviously, the pattern of Yaniv talking to random people from random Facebook groups about offering help to underage girls with putting on items for their menstrual cycle is nothing new. Because here's another one where this person is a little more, logical. Yaniv writes them, I'm a kind person that helps people, always wanting to help. So I asked what to do. Simple. As a fellow girl, you'd understand this. A girl has to have another girl's back on this kind of stuff. I won't ever let someone hang like that, regardless if they're 2 or 100. I'm not evil, and I have a heart. This person realistically responds, as a woman, I would not help a little girl in the bathroom. I may hand her a pad and say good luck. That is it. And it's not evil. You're as dramatic as you are predatory, which is very, by the way. Here's just another random screen cap. No order here. Could I ask you something really random? What are some things that girls do in the bathroom stall and in change rooms that I should be doing to make myself more a girl? I mean, like, in the bathroom stall, stuff like wet pussy, change panty liner, dry up underwear, the gross stuff that us girls do, but might not be aware of. And also, what about when it comes to being on your period? I'm really new to all of this, as I just transitioned in December. You'd think, as talked about earlier, Yaniv says that they have both genitals and menstruate, and they are, I think, in their 30s at this time, maybe late 20s. You'd think they would know what to do with their period by now, but okay. Alright, okay, so about that intersex thing. Here's Yaniv with another Facebook message to someone who probably didn't ask for this information, saying, okay, so you told everyone I'm intersex, a rare condition. She responds, I mean, in all fairness, I shared all of this with them, not just that you're intersex. I don't believe you're intersex to begin with, so there's that. Smart move doing this all on your verified Facebook, with being an easily findable person on all social media platforms, saying gross things, and being obsessive towards girls and their periods wasn't very smart. You act like this is something huge that happens. Me, as a period-having woman, have never dealt with this. Why, if you have male reproductive organs, even wearing pads or even tampons? You don't have eggs that shed your organs every month. And Yaniv quite candidly responds, I was born with both reproductive organs. It's rare, but I get so much hate about it, I don't tell anyone. Well, now 350,000 of my closest friends now. One of the victims Yaniv was predatory to came forward and wrote this on Kiwi Farms. Hi guys, I'm assuming most of you know or have heard of me already, but if not, here's my introduction. My name is Jessica Rumpel. I was one of the underage girls who came forward with my story about Miss Lovely Yaniv. If you haven't heard of me, just go ahead and Google my name, and I'm sure there would be lots of searches. But if you're too lazy to do that, I shall help you with that. I met Yaniv when I was around 14 years old. He hit me up on Kik, which is an instant text messaging app that used to be popular. What even happened to Kik anyways? Yo! Anyways, but I met Yaniv through there, and he was like, at first, hey, I need your advice on something, and I was like, oh, okay, sure, ask me anything. And that's when the pad questions came along, and all the bathroom shit. Eventually our conversations migrated to Facebook. I don't have the Kik conversations anymore, but I have everything on my Facebook account. I was glad I didn't delete anything. Otherwise, damn. But that's when Yaniv started getting a little weirder. Yaniv was still identifying as male at the time, but he would start asking me how to go into women's bathrooms without being caught. He started getting dirty with me, got sexual real quick. He sent me Elmo recordings. Yes, I was the one who received the Elmo recordings and leaked it on the internet and ruined everyone's childhood. Sorry about that, guys.
Elmo loves the pussy.
He even asked me to show him pictures of my tampons and pads because why the fuck not? And Yaniv at the time did not tell me he had periods, like he claims to have always had periods. If Yaniv had periods this whole time, don't you think he would have tried telling me that a long time ago while I kept crying and dying from my period cramps, which he told me he was jealous about? Yaniv got romantic with me a lot, saying I'd make a perfect girlfriend and that he wants to marry me. He even told me on Ask FM, through Anonymous, he prefers to fuck girls under the age of 18, they have tighter vaginas. He sent me lots of weird things on Ask FM, and I would always ask him if he sent me those questions, which he confirms with being like, blushes, and sometimes he did tell me yes and no. He even created a Barney account on Ask FM, because why the fuck not get any weirder? He made his own Barney I Love You song and turned it into Tampon Man. Finally, at 16, on my new Ask FM, since my old one got suspended, someone tells me that JY used them, hurt them, etc. It came to the conclusion JY is doing the exact same shit to other girls, except these poor girls actually fell in love with him. I didn't care as much about JY anymore. He just got more and more annoying to me. I felt bad for these girls. They told me Yaniv said he was 18. Yaniv, on the other hand, told me he was 28. He used younger pictures of himself when he was not fat. LMAO, but when I called him out on my Ask FM, got him suspended, and he got mad at me and blocked me. Now, after many years later, Yaniv still denies knowing me. He suddenly unblocks me on Facebook, and it was proved to be his verified account on the conversations I had with. See images with proof of that. This is my story. There are so many things I left out. There's so much more you guys don't know. So that's everything I found so far. And before any of you get up in arms saying, hey, this seems really gross, let me let you know. And this may just be a Nebraska thing. And yes, I am from Nebraska. Go Horn Crushers! But us girls play a game with each other called Snatch a String. I'll give you the DL, how it usually goes. A bunch of girls bear all in the locker room, just as Yaniv suspects, and we look for girls with a dangling string between their legs. We call this the Snatch Duel. So all of us try to grab each other's string, and when the first one gets it, we begin smacking each other with it and trying to see who can make the biggest blood mark. Again, maybe a Manhattan thing. Go Bears.
Oh, I hate these flood pants.
Not only does Yaniv have a long list of being at the very best a disgusting pervert, and at the very worst a predator that had no rights to be around people of any kind, they also want to be part of some kind of topless underage children pool party. It was sometime July 2019, Yaniv got involved with an event called All Body Swim, where adults were not allowed to go. The event got shut down, and if you're gonna believe the narrative Yaniv puts out, it's due to anti-LGBTQ+ But guys, really? Yaniv was not having this shutdown lightly, and they tried to get it rescheduled. Originally, someone named Sharika Soul tweeted out wanting this pool party shut down. This original woman who called the shutdown responded with a, "Hey bitch, how about no? Pedos are not LGBT." Now, how would you think a reasonable person would respond? Maybe deny the pedophile allegations? Not our Miss Yaniv. She quite candidly responded saying, "The LGBTQ are the LGBTQ. If trans-identifying people want an event, why can't they? Should I lobby about getting, don't know how to pronounce it, shut down here as this isn't India? This is Canada. Same thing, bud. Don't hate." This really got my noggin jogging. Why would Yaniv not respond with the obvious denial? Well, it's because it's 2019 and it's LGBTQPZ. I don't know the rest. I did see some extra letters that I've never seen in the LGBTQ+ acronym that I never got told about in my obligatory diversity training at every job I've had. But hey, maybe Home Depot just wasn't up to date. But the people who first organized the event were determined to get it rescheduled, as well as Yaniv. I'm just gonna read through the back and forth here on Twitter. While I read this message, imagine a 30-something-year-old person with a and wide ready to as they the ready to of 12+-year-olds. RIPX4Nutmeg tweets, Langley's no caregivers / parents allowed swim for LGBT kids might have been cancelled, much to the dismay of Jessica Yaniv, but organizers who have confirmed they couldn't guarantee children's safety are determined to run it again, as they're ignoring why people objected. Yaniv responds, "I'm personally gonna get this restarted again." RIP4Nutmeg says, "How and why?" Jessica responds, "How? You'll see. Why? Because I'm an activist." Rip responds, "If you succeed, will you attend the Naked Children event? Aren't adults not allowed to go?" Yaniv responds, "I've requested to change the parameters to 12+. A user named Poohhead Jenkins responded to the cancellation of it, saying, "Oh, that's a shame. You must have been really eager to look at naked 12-year-olds. Yaniv responds, "Naked." They respond, "Oh, I'm sorry, scantily clothed. Is that better?" Yaniv says, "What's the problem with 12-year-old topless girls? Let them be themselves." Do you think before you respond? Continuation of the tweets with Nut for Meg about how, you'll see, why, because I'm an activist. If you succeed, will you attend the Naked Children event? Aren't adults not allowed to go? I've requested to change the parameters to 12+. It was 12 to 24 anyway. Why have you requested that you can have access to these naked children? LOL, they're not naked. Username Armada ducks into the conversation saying, "What about when they're changing their clothes and showering? I recall you are very interested in what goes on in change rooms. What about boys? Are you curious about them, or is it just preteen girls?" Jessica, I shower with them. Shower areas and pools are open / communal. Must be fun, especially when the joke's about dropping the soap. Do you like to get real close up to the other girls? Stop watching porn. So clever, Yaniv. Pedophile allegations. So Yaniv felt very strongly about this event continuing, that they even brought up a petition in front of the Langley City Council in an attempt to raise support for this parent-free child ogling opportunity. As of July 22nd, 2019, the City Council of Langley has yet to hear Yaniv's petition, instead opting to push back the scheduled presentation until they reconvene. Fate of the underage pool party is yet to be decided.
As Chris said, the key to my art is anger. But you know me, I'm Mr. Mellow.
So here we are, the main thing that gave Miss Yaniv attention. The main interest in Yaniv is them wanting their feminine balls waxed. I'm gonna take you to the distant land of March 2018, a land of the leaf, British Columbia, Canada, in 2018. So Jessica Yaniv found herself a lady with a rather hairy nether region to deal with. What is such a dainty little lady as Yaniv to do in this situation? Well, get a bikini wax, duh. So Yaniv contacted 18 salons, 15 of which, when finding out Yaniv still had male genitals, said no. Why do you think 15 salons said no? Could it be several were Sikh, a people Yaniv has been exposed for being racist against, and had religious beliefs that prohibited them from handling male genitals other than their husbands? Could it be some worked from home and were home alone and worried for their safety? And let's be honest, looking at Yaniv's past, it's very warranted to perhaps be freaked out from the vibe that this person gives. And could it be that giving Brazilians to penises, even feminine ones, is different from giving them to vagines? No, it's because it's a human right violation. Bigot. So I didn't understand about this human rights tribunal that Yaniv is reporting these people to. So I decided to Google it. So according to Wikipedia, the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal is a special administrative tribunal established in 1977 through the Canadian Human Rights Act. It is directly funded by the Parliament of Canada and is independent of the Canadian Human Rights Commission, which refers cases to it for adjudication? Sorry, I'm dumb. Under the Act, the tribunal holds hearings to investigate complaints of discriminatory practices and may order a respondent to a complaint to cease a practice, as well as order a respondent to pay compensation to the complainant. And you, my viewers, might be thinking, hey, do those protected people, does that count religion? Hell no, shut the fuck up. I decided to dig a little deeper, and by that I mean reading Kiwi Farms, Inb4 Your Research Sucks. And I learned this about the tribunal, at least according to this poster. Human rights tribunals are quasi-legal courts to serve minorities who feel that they have been discriminated against. They are not real courts, but in Canada, issue fines to people and businesses that are enforced by courts. And since becoming a strong trans woman, the British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal is Yaniv's weapon of choice. So basically, they primarily use being trans to issue complaints against women who refuse to provide them hairless ball surgery. So Yaniv contacts women who offer genital waxing to other women, also known as a Brazilian wax, pretending to defend the human rights issue, and when they refuse to provide services to Yaniv based on the fact that Yaniv has a penis, Yaniv then threatens, harasses, and cajoles them, frequently resulting in a complaint to the HRT. Yaniv relies on the women's inability to legally defend themselves, having dropped cases in the past upon finding that the respondents retained legal counsel. There is an article from the Bridgehead that details one of the exchanges between Yaniv and a salon worker, which reads, "One day in March, a transgender woman messaged a tanning salon in Surrey, BC, after seeing a Facebook ad for waxing services. 'Hi there, where are you located?' the woman asked. 'Clayton Heights,' responded Sheila Poyer, then an aesthetician of Mint Tanning Lounge. 'Awesome, do you do Brazilians?' the woman wrote back, referring to bikini wax or removal of pubic hair around the groin. 'Not for men.' 'Sorry,' Poyer answered. 'I'm actually female. I transitioned a while ago,' she replied, but when she inquired what time she could schedule a visit, there was no response. The Facebook exchange is now the subject of a complaint filed with the BC Human Rights Tribunal. The transgender woman, who according to an order of the tribunal can only be identified by the initials JY, alleges she was discriminated against on the basis of gender identity or expression and is seeking $2,500 and an apology. Reached by phone on Wednesday, the woman, who describes herself as a digital entrepreneur, said the complaint is one of 15 she filed against salons from Vancouver to Abbotsford. Over March and April 2018, she said she contacted 18 salons and only 3 agreed to take her as a client. Quote unquote. I could go further into this, but I think I kind of made my point. Getting your feminine penis waxed is very important, and Yaniv is very brave for getting these women fired.
Oh, I hate these flood pants.
So, eventually, trans YouTuber Blair White discovered this strong person, Yaniv, and decided to make some money. A video discussing all of Yaniv's shit. It got girl a pretty high view count, and wanted to milk the issue further, bring more awareness. Blair then debated the troglodyte on a live stream, where the two competed to be the more annoying person, with Blair White preening her hair every 5 seconds.
Find those laws unjust.
And Yaniv talking like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, Yaniv was the grosser of the two. I don't particularly actually dislike Blair White, but Yaniv came in with a brilliant excuse for the allegations. Get this, Yaniv got gay out by a bunch of underage girls for about 10 years.
So in 2013, it's just a coincidence that people were pretending to be you on Ask FM preying on young girls. Someone was just pretending to be you.
Yep, unfortunately.
Beautiful, brave, flawless Miss Yaniv, just like your wig.
The wig is slipping, fix it. It's slipping.
So I know, I'm late on the fucking tea. But essentially on the live stream, the big dum-dum Yaniv flashed off their taser to emphasize to Blair that Canada, despite the laws very obviously siding with them, is some transphobic place where they need to literally fight people off the streets.
I don't need to be scared in my own house that I'm gonna get fucking attacked, which is illegal in Canada. Just saying. But
Do you think that was like cute? Was that a moment for you?
Now, I'm no lawman. In fact, I'm not a man. But considering the laws that are protecting Yaniv, I really doubt going around a city in Canada is akin to the deep American South in the 1960s. Well, even dumber than pulling out the taser, Yaniv even admitted on stream that having that taser was illegal.
Which is illegal in Canada. Just saying.
This resulted in, quite hilariously, Yaniv being arrested. Yaniv's little jail time didn't last long though, because we just can't have some poor, deplorable degenerate be kept away from those most vulnerable in society. Yaniv was eventually let out, and the shit show really began. Now, I can't go through everything. It's literally one of the most insufferable dumpster fires I have ever witnessed. Around this time, Rebel Media, aka Ezra Levant's personal blowjob machine, or as described by Wikipedia, Rebel Media is a Canadian far-right political and social commentary media website. They essentially took the story. Whether it be due to Blair White's media attention, Yaniv appeals to their viewer base, I'm not quite sure. I could look it up a little more, but I could also shave someone's balls, and I don't know which one I prefer. I'd rather watch Rebel Media, I guess. But in the past 3 weeks, they have put out 16 videos on Yaniv, or at least having Yaniv in the keywords. Who knows if there will be more as I write this. One of the big things Rebel Media got was Yaniv assaulting a cameraman on screen. Despite Yaniv claiming to be disabled, they quite, and I will say this is not very ladylike, pummeled the hell out of some Canadian. Besides just the basic coverage and pointing out that Yaniv is, in fact, a loony, we also got to meet Yaniv's very supportive mom.
Go away! Do you have any weapons on you?
Go away! Hey, don't
Go away!
Now, I know Yaniv puts on quite some physical feats here, but Yaniv, besides being intersex, has a variety of health issues. So while we watch Yaniv assault the Rebel Media reporter, let me list off the various ailments that this poor individual suffers from, thanks to Kiwi Farms. We already know intersex, male genitals, female genitals, both, hormone use, gender reassignment surgery, mental instability, cancer scares, skin, breast, lung, brain, neurological symptoms, hydrocephalus, seizures, epilepsy, syncope, concussions, memory, mobility, paralysis, collapse, scooter, hearing problems, mitochondrial disease, breathing problems, allergies, obesity, diabetes, eating disorder, facial injuries. The Rebel Media has done some other coverage, including getting liberals to say "nah" to Yaniv. I really do look forward to see how else Rebel Media will instigate this. The current shit show. So besides the Blair White stuff and the Rebel Media stuff and all the predator behavior, the shit show doesn't end. It never ends. Following Blair's stream, Yaniv doxed Blair, and then Blair got on and had a conversation with Yaniv and her manager, where we were all convinced it was Yaniv pretending to be two different people.
Yeah, I'm here, and I will be on the call.
Wait, are you guys the same person? Can you speak at once?
No, we're not the same person. I don't believe that I sound anything like Jessica Blood-Tie.
Well, it turns out they are two different people. And so, Yaniv's manager was being very sketchy here, but was also kind of working with Blair White. And then Blair White came out and was all like, the manager is defending Yaniv, and did a video all like, oh my god, this manager is defending a predator.
Hard to believe that someone going to the police saying, hey, I have proof that this person is a predator and has actually admitted to illegal action with underage girls, that the police wouldn't take it at all. Since then, this agent has become extremely shady, and I personally believe that, you know, he has these admissions, but he's holding on to them.
It was nuts. These people were all like, yes, girl, get him! But then the manager went on to Kiwi Farms to write this huge essay on why Blair White is a liar, and how Blair White made this video despite the manager telling Blair that they were working with the authorities and talking with the police with Blair on the phone. And then, because of Blair's video, now this guy was getting death threats and all this stuff. It was a huge post, but let me just reach into my 2 week ago memory when I read it to give you the gist. He was working with authorities. Blair made the video outing him, despite him providing proof to Blair that he was working with the authorities. And he was also making a documentary, and everything was ruined because of Blair. He legit made it sound like the investigation on Yaniv was ruined because Blair made that video. At first I thought, damn, teaches you right for trusting an e-thought. But as he continued to post to the forums, I won't say his name because I forgot it, he continued to say that Yaniv didn't do anything, while Blair was screen capping a conversation between the manager and Yaniv, where the manager was asking Yaniv never to do things with underage people again. Real sketch. The thread where he appeared in escalated, and eventually a writer at Post Millennium decided to contact this psycho manager and posted about how she interacted with him and detailed the final phone call and recorded it. They summarized the ending of the recording between the two as, in the recording between the journalist and the manager, there was an admission by the manager that Yaniv had claimed to him that they had committed illegal acts.
In his chat messages, looking for pornography.
Because illegal acts have taken place.
You're looking for illegal acts, which means you've picked sides because you believe that he has committed illegal acts, which means you have picked sides.
One, also on the phone call, Ryan, the manager, claimed that he lied to Yaniv because it's standard journalistic practice, and that he also never lied to Yaniv.
Ryan...
I, again, did not mislead anybody. I did not trick anybody. I never told anybody that I was doing a pro-Jonathan Yaniv documentary. These are words you are throwing in my mouth.
When we spoke this morning, you told me that you had gained Jonathan Yaniv's trust in order to try to get him to divulge information that he would not have otherwise divulged to you in an attempt to get...
That is the standard protocol of a reporter.
He was also accusing the female journalist of being on Yaniv's side for telling him that she's never lied to anyone.
I've never lied to anybody.
What side are you on? I haven't lied to anybody either. You think I'm sitting here cheering him on?
You told Yaniv that you were in his DMs looking for pro-Yaniv messages.
I did not. I did not.
You told him you were looking for porn?
You're making shit up as you go.
You told him you were looking for child exploitation messages?
I told him I was collecting information. My God, what is going on with you?
Listen.
You have got to stop putting words in my mouth, because if you're going to put words in my mouth, I also believe you put words in the mouth of the victim. And as a result of that, you are not a trustable source of information. I see what you're doing to me, and it's not okay.
You're a really scary individual, Ryan.
Okay, here we go.
You are. You turned this from me calling into question you questioning why she gave an adult man her bra size into me calling into question...
projecting and putting words in my mouth. This is you projecting and putting...
The female journalist concludes with writing, "Just absolute insanity. Listening to this again was a mindfuck. I need a goddamn coffee." Also, something else I found interesting, Yaniv visited Kiwi Farms early in August. This is kind of out of place in my little video, but I just wanted to tell you how Yaniv behaves. Yaniv wrote on Kiwi Farms at WG Kitty, who was someone who knew Yaniv in real life, and was posting dirt on Yaniv in the forums as well, about how nobody likes Yaniv in their apartment building. At WG Kitty, "You going to die, motherfucker. Gonna die." At WG Kitty, "You better not step outside of the building or else meow, 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 meow." I counted it. "I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly wish to be. Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love. Oh, everyone would be in love. Everyone would be in love with me. Too bad Yaniv is not an Oscar Mayer wiener."
My feet are so well I cut the whole you're welcome. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
I don't really have a conclusion here. I feel like this is just the tip of the Yaniv iceberg. May you wish to delve deeper? I just want to read to you every thread in the Jonathan Yaniv Kiwi Farms subforum.
Jonathan Yaniv /Jessica Yaniv @trustednerd /trustednerd.com /JY knows it /JY British Columbia. JY's tweets and other social media. JY's board discussion. Jonathan /Jessica Yaniv FAQ. Yaniv in the news. Jessica versus the Physiotherapist Corp. Oh, Canada. Critical discussion of trannies and pedophilia. Dr. Jessica Yaniv, PhD. Yaniv versus the Sikh community. British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal. Yaniv fan art thread. Suspected. Ryan Gordon, Yaniv's agent, pays a visit to the farms. Shitposting trending thread, Defenders of Yaniv, General Questions and Discussion, Muslim Republican asks trans men about Jessica Yaniv, Yaniv's sock puppery spectacular, Yaniv visits the farm, LGBT plus disavowals, Yaniv the soundtrack, taking bets for Jonathan's fate, Jonathan Yaniv versus Morgaine Ogre, Jessica Yaniv, true and honest woman, auto gynophile or other, Jessica Rumpel visits the farm, Yaniv's definitely not a pedo, babysitting service, JY's Munchie Saga, Yaniv's political career, vote for Jessica, Yaniv goes on tr.nny's Instagram livestream, Jonathan, Jessica Yaniv, racist and xenophobe, Yaniv versus KF armchair psychiatrist, funniest JY quotes, Yaniv charged with weapons possession, Yaniv collapses daintily onto a filthy carpet, JY Elmo voice clips, Mark Taylor, The Legend of Maku, Spectator US, Megan Murphy, why is Jessica Yaniv still on Twitter and not in jail? Even pro LGBTQ think Jessica Yaniv is going too far. Janiv, YouTuber, JY claims he was sexually assaulted and nobody believes him, rental woes in 2017, how to deal with Yaniv, Blair White, Jessica Yaniv has my address and says he's buying a gun, Blair White tweet, JY doxed her address, let's talk about second wave radical feminism, TERFs freak out over Jonathan Yaniv, Rebel Media, Yaniv assaults a reporter, is Jennifer really the monster we're making her out to be? Miriam Yaniv, Blair versus Yaniv, the final reckoning, Yaniv retracts apology to Blair White, new Anna Spatz article in the Post-Millennial, Canadian law clarifications, Rebel News mini doc, who is Jessica Yaniv, hard-hitting questions for Jessica to answer next time she's allowed to post, YouTuber Easy on Me, Jessica Yaniv is pure evil, fashion show, JY edition, public settings of JY, Gunt Watch, JY stars in the documentary, a message for WG Kitty, Wikipedia has purged Yaniv's article, Jonathan Yaniv a pedophile, Blair White versus Jonathan Yaniv, Jessica Yaniv set New York fries in her hit lawsuit sites, create nicknames for Jonathan Scooter, Yaniv and Jason Jones, best friends forever, Yaniv raided, arrested by RCMP, Miriam might have assaulted the rebel, confrontation with reporter and Yaniv start a parking lot, Nick Rakita goes live with Noel to discuss Yaniv, Blair White live now on epilogue to Yaniv, Johnny Scooter Puff and insurance fraud, business Yaniv, trusted nerd / JY knows it / former employers, for whom does Yaniv speak, shit on Yaniv here, Yaniv on the war room, response to child grooming, Yaniv's interview with Alex Jones, Yaniv search engine optimizer extraordinaire, JY is trying to lock the skeletons in his closet, beauty pageant, Benjamin Boyce, legal impact of Yaniv case with defense lawyer John Carpay, Canadian press, unzip and unwind says National Sex Day organizer, Yaniv interviewed by SJW, Yaniv chat logs from 2008, Jonathan's appearances before Township of Langley, the rise of Jonathan Yaniv, Jonathan spews so much bullshit, he can't keep his story straight.
Holy fuck.
Jonathan Yaniv / Jessica Yaniv, public records request, Ricky Gervais versus Jessica Yaniv on Twitter, anonymous stories about Yaniv, video, John leaves out scooter with mom next to him, threatens to pepper spray onlookers, post-publication ban JY censorship on social media, list user, bans platforms from misgendering him here, archive everything, JonathanYaniv.org, JessicaYaniv.org, Lindsay Shepard, unbanned from Twitter, Twitter be like, oh shit, people don't like Yaniv, Tucker Carlson on Yaniv, JY under siege, CBC, global interview videos, insider info plus, includes crazy mama Yaniv, JY cries assault at tribunal hearing, social update, final day of HRT, Jonathan and victims, Jonathan / Jessica versus his child, victim, Jessica and others, Jonathan Yaniv and vexatious litigation outside the Human Rights Tribunal.
Last I checked, Yaniv is now claiming to have a PhD, which is faker than a $2 bill.
So Jonica posted a couple of days ago this tweet here saying, I'm delighted to announce I've been awarded an honorary PhD in transgender advocacy from Social Justice University. Special thanks to my sponsor for making this possible. So first of all, an honorary PhD isn't actually a real degree. I mean, Kanye West has a PhD in something or other.
She tried to become a babysitter also, which thankfully didn't happen.
So it turned out that a couple of weeks ago, Yaniv joined a babysitting group in Canada, presumably to try and find work as a babysitter. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the kind of messages Yaniv has sent young people in the past.
There are more lawsuits. Now, I don't know what's going to come from this. It seems like the Human Rights Tribunal was made with good intentions, but it was easily manipulated by certain groups of people. Who are those people? Certainly didn't talk about them in this video. Who knows? I'm really not going to put any sense of a lesson here. I could make some right-wing aimed claim of saying this is the slippery slope of recognizing everyone's ridiculous identity. I could go on to talk about how harmful Yaniv is to the trans community, but to be honest, I just came here to watch a dumpster fire. Actually, what I hope happens is Yaniv and Mobility Mary get into a scooter fight.
Excuse me, sir! Excuse me, it's ma'am!
Anyway, thanks to my Patreon, subscribe if you want to. Here are they here.